Hello, my name is Chloe Kennedy, and my capstone discusses a new plan for the Rainy Lake region of Voyageurs National Park. Located in northern Minnesota, the park has been running into issues with traffic volume and flooding. As an individual who does not have quality knowledge of the national park system in America and its purposes, I decided to start with background research on why these parks exist. I also looked at the international park systems and management methods for comparison to see if any improvements could be made. I found that the major difference between park management methods is found in how conservation is viewed. The Western approach, which is currently more used by the national park systems, views conservation as a removal of people from the land in order to not harm it. A more non-Western and indigenous approach to conservation embraces the relationship between people and the land, and the majority of indigenous managed or co-managed parks still have people living on the protected land. Acknowledging the differences between these two views on conservation is important to note because studies have found that parks and protected areas which manage with a non-Western ideology are more biodiverse and adaptable to changes. With this in mind, I decided to look at the purpose and goals as defined by the team at Voyageurs National Park and its management plan. The goal in doing this was to identify which view the goals and purposes lean towards and where potential changes in park management could occur. When beginning to design, I first analyzed the existing site conditions. On this graphic, I utilized the USGS Web Soil Survey to calculate the impact of different built programming ideas, such as trails or small buildings. Also, in the beginning process of design, I found it important to acknowledge the native peoples of northern Minnesota, the Ojibwe, if I am proposing the parks managed with a more non-Western mindset. 3 reservations in northern Minnesota worked together to publish a climate adaptation plan which is accessible to the public. This graphic summarizes part of their plan that specifically deals with focus species. These focus species were highlighted individually in the plan due to their importance to the Ojibwe culture. I summarized what solutions the tribes proposed for these focus species, and then highlighted the most commonly mentioned solutions: education, biodiversity, and human activity. I then looked at the existing soil types and ecosystems within the park to see where these focus species could be implemented within Voyageurs. With this new information, I was able to highlight where opportunities for building are located in the park, as well as what existing structures should be changed. I also proposed a phasing plan which highlights increasing education, biodiversity, and changing human activity within the park. My new proposed plan has 3 major changes: an increase in the number of trails in the park, increased parking, and a new boat access point. Along with the new proposed plan, I readdressed the existing purpose and goals of the park. Changes were made to vocabulary in order to communicate a non-Western mindset and approach to the management of the park. I also proposed some merchandise and infographic possibilities to aid in acknowledging the changes of the park and why they are occurring. Here, I propose an app that increases accessibility to information about Voyageurs specifically. With education at the forefront, the app provides opportunities for individuals to learn more about the ecosystems and specific plants within the park, such as monument or wild rice. It also provides ease of access to events occurring at the park, which I propose should become more collaborative with the Ojibwe reservations of northern Minnesota. Here, I propose a sculpture of a traditional Ojibwe canoe to honor the importance of the waterways. When the park floods, the canoes will appear to be floating on the water. I also propose overlooks to provide an opportunity for visitors to literally change their perspective of the ecosystem. I propose multiple such towers and experiences as I believe they have the opportunity to increase an individual's understanding and connection with nature. Lastly, I propose employee housing which honors the historical lifestyle of the Ojibwe peoples. Modern wigwams will enhance and acknowledge the native peoples of this land and provide opportunities for net zero living. Thank you for listening, and a special thank you to the team at Voyageurs and the National Park Service for their help and feedback.